Hello my lovelies, Robbie here at Kickbackgarage. This is an in-between project. I have to be really quick with this one because I'm just about to pick up the frame for the Li Series 2 that I'm building. And I need to get that on the go really. But in this video, we're going to be, hopefully, we're going to be changing the front mudguard on my Series 1 to a Spanish turning type. Exciting times. I wanted to do this for ages. Now is the time. As you can see, box with Spanish turning mudguard. Looks really good quality actually, quite solid. I bought this from Scooter Centre, and apparently the primer is really poorly on this, so you should take it off and put new primer on. This is not a shiny machine, it's sort of a rat bike, so I'm just going to paint that straight on there. Obviously we need to do some modifications, and the modification bits I bought from let's have a look at what this is, from K2 Customs. These are the flippy end bits, like they have on the Rally Master. Bought these from K2 Customs, as I said, and they just simply bolt on. I think I want to blend them with a bit of filler, but they need a lick of paint. They're very shiny. Let's put those away. And another thing you have to do on these is fit. You don't have to. I've seen a few people that haven't done it, and I saw a smart Alec as well. What did he do? He used his obviously, like on a Vespa, you need bolts on that type of mudguard. Some people don't use them. Some people do. I saw a really smart guy who'd used the upper bolt for the shock placement. Use that bolt instead of. But anyway, what I'm going to do, I'm going to do it properly. Just so you get an idea of how much work is involved. You have these brackets, which I am going to weld onto my fork, and you also need to, let's have a look here, what else has he sent me? He's also sent me a ring that you weld to the top of the fork. That enables you to fit the mudguard, and then you use this like clamp system here to clamp it onto the scooter. Exciting stuff. As you can see, I have already started, I've stripped the front end of the scooter, and I'm just dropping the fork. I've taken out the disc brake. I'm not sure if you can keep the front in a mudguard. There's not really any point to that, is it? Because it's got more coverage. You see, it's really dirty under there, my scooter, after these long trips I had last year. This is my I need a tool. So if you follow the channel, you'll know this scooter is my Sledgehammer 333 engined Series 1. Seen very little action this thing because I had problems with that idiot at RT Fabrications. I have not got a tank that fits this. I did order a tank from. The idea was I'm going to be like working and talking at the same time. Not easy. Not really a multitasker, as you probably know. Yeah, so the RT tank went tits up, and this scooter has stood still since October. No, I'm lying. September, August, the end of August last year. So that is really annoying. I was sort of hoping that this was going to be my right to work touring far scooter, but it didn't turn out that way. I did ride quite a few miles on it, did about 6,000 kilometers, but yeah, it's annoying. I ordered a oil tech tank for this, and that was in 29th of September. Still no sign of that. I did get the impression that they had those in stock when I ordered it, so I thought that was going to be like a quick fix. Obviously not. All things who wait for things that are good. What's that saying go? All for those who wait. Whatever. What the hell does that? Anyway. Let's see if I can get that off now. yes, I'm waiting for that. But I did meet a really nice, very clever chap in Belgium who said he would try and weld me one in steel. I actually think steel is probably better than aluminium. There's a lot of vibrations in this machine. Vibrates like a fucking jackhammer. I was sort of hoping I could get that fork out without lifting it any higher, but it doesn't seem to be the case. Let me put these bearings down. So this is actually quite a lot of work, and I've sort of been manning myself up. I've got loose bearings on this as well, so I have to pop those over there. I'm also doing something a little bit exciting. I'm going to be fitting very soon, hopefully. I'm going to be fitting the MB bearings on this. He's made a kit for proper bearings that should fit the lambretta, unlike the ones that I got from SIP a few years ago. I've always fancied one of those, because the thing is, the ring is going to fit on here. It's going to be pretty hard for me to fit the loose balls up in there and press it all together. So I bought a bearing kit at the same time. I thought I'd try that out, because that's something I really fancy doing. Nice thing about those bearings is that, like roller bearings, is that you don't have to tighten it that tight, and they're not like, if you over tighten it slightly, you won't really feel it on the fork, if you get what I mean. So you don't have to mess around trying to tighten up. I was hoping, can I get? Oh, if I move this fucker, I was pretty sure it was enough with one plank under the stand. I actually haven't got anything to lever it now. I've taken off the handlebar. Damn it. Right, let's... ooh, sketchy. Oh, that's pretty precarious. Don't fall off there. Mrs. Series 1. Can I get it out now, do you think? Almost. Bloody thing. If I move my tools, maybe I might have a fighting chance of this. Oh, so close. Oh, yes. What's it stuck on now? Fork out, baby, fork out. So that is the inner mudguard removed, and now I need to remove, I can never remember how big the holes are there for. Have I got holes? Tiny. No wonder they snap all the time. I need to remove the bearing race here, because the new bearing system doesn't need it. Okay, that's starting moving already. Ooh. One bearing race removed. Well, cheap Chinese parting tool just didn't want to do that. I really need to get some proper ones. Yeah, angle grinder it is. Wow, so this is the ring that came with the mudguard. I didn't use the K2 one, and it was a pretty tight fit, but I attacked the top of the crown here with a flappy wheel to get rid of the paint, and I took the paint off the inside of this ring and I knocked it on, and that is just... there's no way that's going to move anyway. But I think I'll just give it a couple of tacks anyway. But first, before I tack it, As you can see, I've removed some paint. It's not going to go anywhere. I think if I'd have put some Loctite on the back of that before I knocked it down, I probably wouldn't have to weld it, which is pretty cool. Yeah, I'm surprised actually that fit so well. What I'm going to do now is, the reason why I've kept the anti-dive disc brake bit on is because I want to see, oh, it's dirty, isn't it? I want to see where I need to position these brackets on the side, and hopefully they don't come in conflict with my anti-dive bit. I've been at this for a couple of hours, so it's going actually better than expected, to be honest. Right, so that fits over there. Oh, lovely, lovely fit. Obviously it comes with a clamp that you clamp it down with. Probably could lift that up a little bit as well, so it sits like that, but we'll see that when I get it in the when I actually get it in the scooter. There's a hole here obviously for the disc brake. I've actually bought a grommet from a Vespa for electrical cables, so I need to make that hole a little bit bigger. First I have to find that grommet, it's somewhere, and so that I can feed my hydraulic cable through there. And let's have a look here. Oh, just above the anti-dive what's it. So I'm gonna play around with these brackets a little bit and see where I can place them. Make sure that the mudguard is straight, obviously, and I'll probably tack them on. Right, that is the brackets welded on. Not brilliantly, but it's not much worse than what Innocenti did. Welded on that, and as you can see, it's a lovely primer red colour. I can't seem, just move my camera a bit, I can't seem to find my white paint, so I've masked it off under where I took away the paint, and I'm going to paint that black. One more job tonight. I'm actually pleased with this. It's only 9 o'clock. I've got another hour before I have to go to bed, and I am on schedule, which is good. I'm really pleased to have come so far. Last job of the evening is fitting the cup itself, the bearing cup. The really nice thing about this, it's a fancy tool that I just bought. This is the MB bearing press. The nice thing about it, it's a pretty cool design, because if you can see on this, you can see the chamfer where those bearings sit on the bearing brace. When I fit this over this bar, it actually doesn't come in contact with the bearing brace itself. Nicely done, MB. And on the top we have a cup that sits on the top there. I think I need to angle you slightly up so you can see what I'm doing. Hopefully this should be plain sailing. Obviously I've done a bit of a chamfer on where I cut it. If you fancy fitting one of these bearing races to your Series 3, then it's just a plain fit. If you want to fit it on a Series 2, then you're going to have to cut it down slightly. That fits like a glove, sir. Whew, that was hard work. Gloves. It's moving around down there. if all else fails, get the hammer out. I knew it was in there straight. I just don't understand why it wouldn't go up. Good job it's heavy duty. I think it's pretty much home, to be honest, but that's home. That's not how you're supposed to do it. Nice thing about those rattle cap, I've got my heater going and it's a little bit warmer. Now spring is definitely on its way, and that's why I'm getting a bit of a panic on. That primer is already dry, so I'm going to mat that down and give it a coat of black before I go to bed, because I'm in front of schedule. And the reason why I'm choosing black paint for the top of the fork is because that's what I've got. Fork painted, just matted that down with some emery cloth, you know, the old Scotch pad. And gave it a quick blast with black. Hopefully, the tape is here, you see. Hopefully, you won't be able to see the black or the dominant, suddenly black paint under there, but that should protect it pretty nicely. And hopefully, I've kept the patina on the bottom end of the fork. We'll see. So I fit the mudguard semi-loosely, because what I'm having a problem with is, yeah, by the way, the bearing, adjusting the bearing preload, really easy. But I fit the mudguard probably even easier if we have proper bearings on the top as well. But not enough room when you've got a crown race, unfortunately. Crown ring. Yeah, so I've been trying to line it up so that the mudguard is as straight as possible, that this fancy embellished part of the mudguard is central to the tyre. Is it? I'm starting to doubt myself. Let's have a look. I can see at least that on the brackets on the inside here, that I've got some unequal space. Better. So it's not quite tight at the top, so I can like sort of move it around. I've used half an hour on this actually. That I think so looks pretty good. So what I have to do now is, I really can't be arsed. The easiest thing to do would be to take off. It's not obviously not the easiest. The smartest thing to do will be to take off all this assembly again, and sort of, if I marked, it's really hard to get in there with the pen, by the way, but if I marked the where the holes are on the back side, then I could take off the mudguard and I could drill it with a plate bit on the inside. But am I going to risk it? I think I'm going to risk it. Oh God, it feels correct. Oh fuck, it worked now. We give it a go, give it a little pilot haul, see if I can hopefully. Just don't hold your finger on the back side there, Rob. was spot on. Odd, I actually hit the X marks the spot. Wobbly cam, I think. So yeah, I really didn't deserve that hit, but what I did was I hit X marks the spot. I don't know, I was really lucky. Ow, I've got cramp. So I ended up using these like fancy washers. This is a solid type, so it gives me good support on the mudguard, and on the inside there between, it's really fiddly by the way, trying to hold the nut on the back side here, but yeah, that's life. Quite chunky rubber grommets that I've got in between, so I've just got to fit the other side, and that's all I managed to do tonight. And by the magic of internet, I'll probably just suddenly turn up tomorrow. Evening 3. Yesterday I only had an hour. Today I've only got an hour. This is time constraints, you know. I reckon I would have been able to sort this out in a weekend, but yeah, couple of evenings work. I'm on my third one. I think this is going to be at least 4. What I have to do now is you can see I cut off the bracket on the horn and I fit it to the bracket itself on the frame, which lifted it far enough so that it doesn't catch on the mudguard bracket, which is good. Sorted out my wiring a little bit. I found a live feed to my horn. I'm not sure what happened there. If you have a look here, I've got some wires from, here you go, wires, this is for the rear brake light off the Casa Performance. I think something funky happened there. I can't quite remember, but in anger, and like the day before a rally, I just cut it off and omitted, I think, my horn wire, so that should work at least. Now what I need to do now is make the hole for this is obviously going to be able to fit a standard brake cable, but because I've got this Casa Performance with the banjo on the end, that's not going in there, so I have to get my plate drill out and drill that out. I found somewhere, I found a little grommet that just fits through the over the hose, and the inside diameter of that is 15, and hang on a second. So what I've done with my plate drill is just taped it off there so I don't go too far. I'm not sure what sort of mess this is going to be. I'll give it a go. Is that going in my fork? Yeah, it's catching my fork. Damn it, I have to get the Dremel out, I think. This is the grommet I was talking about. I've split it. I decided not to use the Vespa one. Actually, I think, if I'm not completely incorrect, this might be what came with the kit. There's no way I'm getting that in there. That's a chunky monkey. Can I get that through there? I'm dripping. No, I can't. Yep. Dremel time. Dremel time. I'm dripping. It won't be too bad. I've already patinaed it a little bit. As you can see, the front mudguard there. It's maybe hard to see in the light if I look through the camera lens, but a bit of brake fluid, that'll strip that off straight away. Dremel it is, I think. There is my hole. You'd actually be surprised how long it takes to widen a hole in steel plate using a bit for your Dremel that is made for aluminium. In hindsight, obviously, I should have done this before I fit the mudguard, but because I've not got superhuman powers, I can't remember everything that I have to do. I actually presumed that the banjo would fit through the hole that was there already, because it was sort of like a pear shape. But nope, not at all. So at the moment, I've got the rubber grommet in front of the heater. Hopefully, I'll be able to fit it. Probably a lot of swearing and stuff like that, so I'll do that off camera. So that is the grommet fit. Actually went in pretty easy. Once you've got the hole big enough, it's all right. And it doesn't really interfere with anything. So that is good. What's not that good is the fact that I'm actually going to put a bit of a more substantial zip tie on that. That was a bit of a shitty one that I used back in the day, a couple of years ago, I think. Oh, that's my headset. I shouldn't really do that. This is just dingling on the wires. Yeah, so that's all I can really do tonight. The annoying thing is, my plan really was to sort out the horn, get the headset on. I just have to show you, for the guys with the Series 1s. I've showed this on the SIP video, SIP Speedo, that is, on a Series 2, on a Series 1, sorry. To get more room for your hose, if you're running a hydraulic disc on a Series 1, the trick is you cut down the bolt a little bit and you use a half nut. Can you see that in there? Just behind my scooter loopy John. If I move that out of the way, you can see that. So just fit a half nut there. That does mean that all your wires and stuff can run down there. And also means that, let me do some wobbly cam. Can you see that? So the hose goes through the hole, saves you drilling your headset. And that is about all I can do tonight. I'm a bit behind schedule. I reckon tomorrow I will be doing what I wanted to do today, and that is fit my front wheel. Well, first off, I'm going to bleed that. They can be a real pain in the arse, the old Casa Performance disc brakes. The one on my Series 2 over there, she's in the happy corner, is really good. But the one on this has been a little bit spongy, so I'm gonna pull out all the stops to try and make that little bugger work just as good as my Series 2. And that can take a while. So once I've done that, I can fit the wheel. Another thing that's a real pain in the arse is, you would have thought, because I have fit the Casa links, that's why I didn't split this fork actually, because the Casa links are a bit of a pain in the arse. They're really cool, by the way. Stiffen up that front end. I do feel the difference between my Series 1 and 2, how it rides. I've got exactly the same spring and shock setup in there. Incidentally, while I'm here, I use the BGM 10% stiffer springs, and I use these brilliant. They actually asked me if I could tune these, but these work such a treat that I said, there's no point, mate. No point doing stuff that works fine. But these are the BGM F16 shocks. They're really, really good. They're quite expensive, but definitely worth the money. They've been running for 2 years, no sign of leakage or anything, and they're really solid. So that's cool. So hopefully, when I come back tomorrow, it'll be brake bleeding, and I can refit this, and I can refit my leg shield wheeler rack, stuff like that, hopefully. I'm not going to be too optimistic. I think this is going to be, depending on how quick they go and how easy it is to get the front wheel on. The thing is, it's a solid axle system that you use on the links there. Problem being, you would have thought that they'd just slot straight through, wouldn't you? No, they don't. The rest of it a bit of a pain to get in. So that's a bit annoying. I might be doing something wrong, but it's certainly not as easy as it looked on the video. Yep, I'll see you tomorrow. This is day 7. Day 6, I was busy. I wasn't in the garage. I was in Oslo picking up stuff. But day 7, and we are done, which means I can put that back on the bench. Now we're on wobbly cam, and I'll show you why. Wobbly cam is here. Da-da-da. I think Spanish turning mudguards, especially on Series 1, are absolutely smashing. I think that looks super duper cool. Now, I didn't film this last day because I've just been like doing the opposite of what I did on the first day. One thing I don't think I showed you was I blended these little ears. You can see, and it's not perfect, but I mean, look at the scooter isn't perfect. And if I zoom in a little bit on the mudguard, you can see I've done a bit of, it's really shiny in my light, but on my camera, but it's not really that shiny in real life. And as soon as I get it out on the road, it's going to be less shiny. I think I matched that colour pretty good. Yeah, what do you think? Put comments down below. I think it looks brilliant. Really pleased with that. Now, my take on this is, we've got the old Series 2 there. My take on this is, why should I turn my Italian scooter so that it looks like a Spanish one? Do you know what I mean? So that's sort of what stopped me, even though I think the Spanish mudguards look really cool. And by the way, that repro, brilliant, isn't it? I didn't do any work to it at all. I just gave it a lick of paint and drilled the hole for the mounting bracket on the fork. I'm pleased as well with the fact that the black paint that I painted the fork, you cannot see that, and I've kept that red, white and black, red, white and black thing going. I think it looks really, really, really cool. Glaring thing that's missing here, obviously, is the tank. Yeah, it would be nice. The weather is getting a little bit better outside. I was actually out on a motorbike today on the Super Duke there, and I had some intermittent showers. It's a bit too cold yet, but we're talking maybe a week or two, and it's proper riding season. It's a bit annoying, really, because I really, this time of year, I ride my push bikes more in the winter, in the weekends, and I like to ride two wheels to work instead of using the push bike. And this is the one that we're supposed to be doing that, unfortunately. Not that easy without having a tank and petrol, which is a bit depressing. I've got a couple of other things I need to do with this as well. I actually need to drop down the engine. I've been told that you get rid of some of the vibrations if you go to a normal engine bar. So if I swap that with a normal one, that's what I fancy doing. And I need to take off that exhaust again. I really hate doing that. It's a bit of a faff. Take off the exhaust, drop the engine up, take off the shock, so I can take off the head cowl and fit a new temperature sensor, because that broke last year. But it's not really in a rush to do that yet, because I can't fucking use it. Another thing I wanted to say, like that, I don't want to turn that into a scooter that looks like a Spanish one when I've got an Italian one. Yes, that might be an elitist view, but my view is, even though I like them a lot, is that Series 1s didn't come with these originally. So if you know that this is like custom and not a Spanish one. Know what I mean? I think it looks really cool. I like those bearings, I have to say. They feel really good. Like, obviously I've taken it back down on its stand again, but they felt really, really good, and I'm super pleased with the brake bleed I did as well. That turned out really well. Annoyingly, oh, it's nice and tight, that is. Annoyingly, it's now better than my Series 2 over there, so I might have to do that as well, but I kind of live with it, probably. The important thing is that. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Fitting the Spanish mudguard, it's actually not too much faff. Yes, you do have to take your fork off. You do need to do a bit of welding. I'm still not going to give it a really high score on the difficulty side. It's not too bad. I reckon if I had a full weekend, I would have been able to do this in a weekend instead of like an hour or so in the evenings. But nice thing about that, if you get something that's a little bit faff, then you can just go to bed. And then it's easier to the day after. One thing I struggled with the whole build, the biggest struggle has to be fitting the front dampers on the fork. They are a pain to get to those nuts. If I was going to do this, and in hindsight, yes, I know, but if I was going to do this again, I would definitely fit the upper part of the dampers before I fit the fork and mudguard to the frame. I obviously think this is really cool, that's why I did it. It's something that I've wanted to do for quite a while. I got a tiny space to do work on my own scooter, and it's Easter week next week, so I am going to be concentrating all my effort on trying to get George's Series 2 up on 2 wheels. Problem being, I'm missing the links. I ordered those express, still haven't come. I don't think they're going to come until after Easter, which is a bit annoying. But never mind, what I can do is fit the stand and stuff like that. We'll talk about that in the next video. I'm babbling again. Please do comment down below. And if you like this kind of stuff, don't forget, give me the old subscribe and the thumbs up. And if you want to support the channel properly, then think about becoming a member. And I will love you and leave you and see you all in the next one, which will come next week. Ta-ra.